Why does AI sound so human? Now AI can copy any language and sound natural. So how was AI able to become fluent in all these languages? Better yet, how could you use these same principles to become fluent yourself? By the end of this video, I'll answer those questions and I'll give you 3 easy steps to become natural in any language. But first, we need to look at the normal way we learn languages. In school, they start us with vocabulary. Learn these important words, they say. Then they move us to grammar and tell us, you must know this to sound natural. And if you're lucky, well, now you could get into groups and use what you've learned. It makes sense. Start from the bottom and build your way up, like a pyramid. But there's one problem that always happens with this method. I call it the language learner's curse. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. I studied for so long. I can even read and understand what's said, but I just can't speak. If you've ever thought this, you've fallen into the language learner's curse. But why does this happen? Well, I fell into this curse too. You see, I come from a Puerto Rican family. I had every reason to know Spanish, but I just couldn't speak. My parents tried to teach me since I was little. Failed. They bought me a rocket languages course. Failed. I took 4 years of Spanish in school. Failed. Sure, I learned a lot, but as soon as I tried to speak, I froze. Because I was trying to build every single sentence from the bottom up. This is why so many people can't speak after months or even years of studying. The good news is there's an easy fix. And this fix is the reason AI has become natural in so many languages. So how does AI learn? You may already know this. AI is taught from tons of human content first. We don't just give it a bunch of vocabulary or grammar rules because we know it will sound robotic. It starts from the top and breaks down the language, like a funnel. The craziest part is this learning method isn't even revolutionary. This is how we all learned our native language. When you were a baby, you didn't know what words were. All you could do was sit and listen. This is the natural starting point. Listen to the world around you. Then understand phrases. Then understand the meaning behind vocabulary. Now, before I tell you step by step how you can actually use this, you might be wondering, does this really make that big of a difference? I say yes, and I'll explain. With the top-down approach, you stop thinking about the language because you could hear the language. You're not stuck building from the bottom up. The language flows like a song stuck in your head. Now, when I say this, I'm sure it sounds too easy. So why not learn like AI? Why not learn like you learned your native language? Well, you may have noticed, it's actually kind of hard. Imagine walking outside, except now everyone speaks a different language. It would be frustrating. You wouldn't know what's going on. Ordinary tasks would feel impossible. At this point, you have 2 choices. Continue studying the way you have been, or challenge yourself to face the language head on. This choice is the difference between failure and success. Too many people pick number 1 because it's more comfortable. But they never learn how to speak, and most quit here. I don't want you to quit. The process is simple, something you could easily do. But before I tell you what it is, I must say one thing. You must become comfortable with not understanding anything. That's the only way this works. You ready? Step number 1, start with video. Don't pressure yourself to understand everything all at once. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Step number 2, break down the language. Every video you watch can be broken down into easy to understand phrases. Take your time, find phrases that stand out to you, and learn their meanings. Step number 3, pick up the pieces. Take the sentences you collect and look up words you don't know. Try to fully understand the sentence. Little by little, you will decode the language. That's it. It really is that simple. But you might be wondering, cool, but what do I even watch? Now, before I answer that, I want to be open about what I'm going to say next. I'm going to talk about a product I've been working on. That said, I'll give you pointers if you want to do this on your own. You have a deal? Great. So what do you watch? I know it can be hard to find good videos, and that's why I created the search engine for language learners, Mizas.com, where you can find interesting content in your target language and get video recommendations based on your interests. You could go there, or to do this on your own, you could go to YouTube, translate your search in your target language, and get back results. You can even use filters to find videos that have captions available. I've done this myself, but there is a reason why I created Mizas.com. You see, YouTube doesn't care if you're learning a language or not. They just want your watch time. So even if you create a new account and only use that account in your target language, they will continue to push results that may not be best for you as a language learner. Mizas.com is made to give you the best results with language learning as the goal. Now, it doesn't end there. That's only step 1 in our 3-step plan for natural language. Next, let's break down the language. So while you're watching videos, you can clip audio to create your own study material. And you could use your audio clips for speaking practice with what I call the mimic tool, where you can listen to the audio you clipped, record yourself speaking that same phrase, and compare. You could even slow down the audio to make sure you hear all the details. Now, if you want to do this outside of Mizas.com, you could download audio capture software on your computer. I've used ShareX in the past. Doing it this way, you will have to be very precise with when you start and stop the recording. Or you'll have to download software like Audacity to make sure you only get the exact phrase you want. Another benefit of the editor is that you could drop in your saved clips, listen to them, and record yourself in the editor. I did this myself, but it does require setup time, and the timeline could become a mess if you're not careful. So it's doable, but if you're like me, you like lazy learning, where everything is as simple as possible, which is why I created the Mimic tool. Now, on to the next phase. How do we build our vocabulary? Well, when you're watching videos on Mizas.com, you also get captions, where you could click on a word, get its meaning, and save that word for review. Outside of Mizas.com, you can open up a dictionary, copy and paste words, and use a flashcard app like Anki to review those words. I've used Anki for years, and well, I've also used Anki wrong for years. I ended up in what's called flashcard hell, where you review the same words over and over, but you never feel like you're getting anywhere. Has that happened to you? Well, that's a topic for another video, and if you want to watch that video, you could click here, where I break down what I did wrong and show you a better, less stressful way to learn vocabulary.